Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I say that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, and let us build a nation together. Oh, yeah, yeah. Remember, the key to success is working hard.
Yes, indeed. Remember, the key to success is working hard, but also working smart. You have to work harder and you have to work smarter. Because once you work smarter, then the hard part will get a little easier. I want to welcome you to the Dynamic Hour, and specifically this segment where I will speak, laying the foundation for meaningful engagement. We are here to learn. I can learn from you, the people who comment on Facebook or YouTube, the folks who may WhatsApp me or may call. I can learn from you. And you can learn from me when I disseminate information, when I put the information on the table. So we are a part of a zone of learning, the Open University, a space where we can be enlightened, motivated, enriched. In other words, you will be better off at the end of the program. I want to encourage those on Facebook and YouTube to please share the live. Sharing is caring. I want to start off this morning by saying I expect those on the opposition side, those who have been hit hard, the Union Donkey and others, to be attacking your humble servant. And I am in the kitchen, so I expect to feel the heat. But anytime you see they're attacking me, it means I am hitting the nail on the head. I am inflicting serious blows on them politically. And they are being affected adversely by it. So when they go back and pull up a stale piece of video or audio, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, to make a point of your humble servant, it says a lot. The desperation is obvious. And look, I am so seasoned in this business of talk radio that those things don't move me. When I am in opposition, I did things to get into government. And when I am in government, I will do things to remain in government. That's simple. Because politics is competitive. Politics in itself is a warfare fought by politicians so that one will get the edge over the other. It is as simple as that. When I was, that's past tense, in the opposition, in fact, without seats, I did things to get into government. And when I am in government, I will do things to remain in government. So you going back when I was in opposition, to take a piece of clip here or a piece of clip there to highlight what I said regarding uh, independence and the NNP and Keith Mitchell and what they were doing during that period of time, it doesn't move me. And it's not going to move any reasonable thinking person. It would not move the people who I was able to convince over the many years to move away from Kittism and NNP and see the light, move from being in opposition for so long, in some instances without seats, and get into power with what we have 10 seats now. So I'm saying this to say to you, you have to understand the battle. So the Union Donkey and the others who believe they can post stuff up and become relevant, it's not going to fly. People know me. They know what they get. When they see Kem Jones, they say, this is Kem Jones. If he has to tell you X, he will tell you. And if he has to tell you Y, he will tell you. But they also know the struggle. They understand clearly the struggle from coming from zero, having nothing, 0-0, right? Back to back, and having to navigate through all of this to get to the point where you're in government. When they thought it was impossible, it became possible. So again, I repeat, when I am in opposition, when I was in opposition, I did so many things to get into government. And now that I am in government, I will do all I can to remain in government. So if those individuals want to live in the moment, in the past, when I was in opposition, fighting to get into government, no problem. You can continue to live there. But it will not have any impact on your humble servant. I'm a fighter, politically and otherwise. So the Union Donkey must know. To come up against Kem Jones, you have to be smart, and you're not smart. You have to be strategic, tactical, and you're not tactical. So you're going to fail. And all the others, the NNP goons, zygotes, and sycophants, I have been here for more than a decade. I have been in opposition when there was no seats. I can go back as far as to say, when I started off this, NDC lost the election in 2013. They lost. And I started the mission to this day. Many instances, solo, me alone. Then I innovated. Then I created. Then I used my ingenuity to come up with new strategies, new techniques to overcome the NNP. And here we are. So again, I want to encourage all of you, Grenadians, well-wishers, people who love Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique, to today, being National Colors Day, organize yourselves. Wear your colors. Look good, feel good. We're celebrating 51 years of independence. Put on your green, your gold, and your red. My two daughters this morning, man, they look sharp. I made sure that they organize, they shining this morning. Lovely. And I want to see the folks here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique to wear their colors. Wear your colors and feel good. It's National Colors Day. When I am in opposition, I do things to get into government. When I'm in government, I do things to remain in government. It is simple as that. So, the Union Donkey, deal with what I just said. Today is National Colors Day. The NNP goons, zygotes, and sycophants, deal with it. Folks here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, dress in your colors. Wear it with pride. Love your country. Go there smiling and feel good about yourself. We're celebrating 51 years of independence. Dress up in your colors. Feel good about yourself. Tomorrow, at the stadium, also wear your colors. Wear your everything that would make you feel good. Carry your flags. Enjoy the moment. It will be like a movie tomorrow at the stadium. Organize, mobilize. Come on down at the stadium to hear our beloved Prime Minister, the most honorable Deacon Mitchell, and his guest of honor, Alito Dangati, one of the richest men in Africa. Come on down and let's celebrate Grenadianism together as patriots of this country. So those NNP goons, zygotes, and sycophants, and the Union Donkey, deal with that. When I am in opposition, I do all that I must do to get into government. And when I am in government, I do all that I can to remain in government. Deal with that. Let's move on from here with the first piece of positive news. All right, first piece of positive news. I saw that piece there and I'm loving it. The Honorable Kirin James.
Sustainable energy, creating opportunities for reinventing the economy of the OECS, was the theme for the first physical meeting of energy ministers in the region. The meeting's centerpiece was the presentation and endorsement of the OECS Sustainable Energy Roadmap 2025 to 2035. Ministers reviewed ambitious but practical targets, including achieving 30% renewable energy penetration across the OECS by 2030, with a minimum of 20% in each member state and 50% penetration by 2035. Outgoing Chair Honorable Kirin James, reiterating the theme, said this meeting comes at a time when the urgency of transition to sustainable energy has never been greater.
As Grenada prepares to celebrate 51 years of political independence, we recognize that true sovereignty must also encompass energy independence. Our national energy transition is centered on the integration of solar, geothermal, and other renewable energy sources, the expansion of green transportation, the promotion of energy-efficient buildings, and the creation of green jobs to ensure that no citizen is left behind in this transformation. The reality of climate change demands that our transition be responsible, responsive, and resilient. These three pillars, responsibility, responsiveness, and resilience, must continue to guide our deliberations as a regional body. The conversations we have on energy efficiency, renewable integration, and capacity building must not remain theoretical discussions. They must materialize into policies, into projects, and partnerships that redefine our energy future. Our work here today is not simply about energy. It is about the economic transformation of our region, about securing a sustainable and resilient future for generations to come.
Minister James emphasized that the devastating fury of Hurricane Beryl exposed the vulnerability of the region's energy infrastructure, noting that this was more than a crisis, but rather a resounding reminder that resilience must be at the heart of our energy strategies.
The OECS region stands at a crossroads where the transition to sustainable energy is no longer a distant goal, but a necessary and immediate course of action. Our collective commitment to advancing clean energy solutions must be anchored in innovation, investment, and strategic collaboration. The potential for renewable energy across our member states is immense. Solar, wind, geothermal, and oceanic energy resources remain largely untapped. However, the realization of this potential demands not just political will, but the creation of an enabling environment that fosters technological advancements, robust regulatory frameworks, and sustainable financing mechanisms.
Right. So, folks, isn't she lovely? She's lovely indeed. The Honorable Kirian James, you're doing a fantastic job representing Grenada at the highest level. All right. And you're very lovely. Remain that way. Do what you have to do. Wonderful. So we are continuing with positive news, positive news, positive news. All right. The Honorable David.
Staff and students of the Mount Pleasant Government School will return to their physical classrooms on Monday, February 10th, following months of renovation after the July 1st hurricane. Since then, classroom sessions were held under tents after the heavy debris were cleared from the site. On Tuesday, during the sitting of the Upper House, Minister for Education, Senator the Honorable David Andrew, announced that although there is still minor work to be done on the facility, the tent learning will be no more.
The work at Mount Pleasant is almost complete, to the extent that the main operational areas, the labs, the auditorium, the kitchen, all of those have been completed. And so the entire student population is expected to be within the main building come Monday, 10th February 2025, God willing. So there'll be no longer the need for the tents on the Mount Pleasant compound. So those will be removed. There are one or two other things to continue doing, but those things will not stop the operation of the school, and the works could continue safely without endangering the students. We are very, very happy about this development.
However, students at the Dover Government School will continue to occupy tents while temporary structures are erected for use by the beginning of the upcoming school term. That decision was made following consultations with the parents. Minister Andrew said designs will soon be finalized for the new school building.
In relation to Dover, I'm sure I can't talk about Mount Pleasant and not mention Dover. That was a school that was completely destroyed. We have had several consultations with stakeholders there, the teachers, the principals, education officials, parents. And in fact, I was happy to see my honorable colleague doing his fatherly duty, attending one of the consultations and making his input, quite meaningfully so, Senator Cox, in one of those consultations that we had with parents and stakeholders. And I think while we saw, as a ministry, we saw the opportunity to rebuild a skill center, a state-of-the-art skill center featuring several different skills that we will collaborate with them on, at that location, at the Dover area, and probably merging the small school population in some of the other schools. The population there didn't quite see it that way, and they felt strongly that they wanted the school back there. So we heard their cries, and they are prepared. We are going to rebuild, guided by the wishes of the stakeholders in Carriacou Petit-Matic, in the Dover community, the hundreds of years of tradition, the many generations of persons. So it's not just the school, as we were made to become quite aware. And so we're happy. They are prepared to continue occupying the tents at Wynwood in the immediate. They look forward to upgrades in a temporary structure on that site. That was talked about and agreed to. The ministry is currently working to review designs that we hope can be available before the end of this school year, so that they could actually have a temporary structure of sort while we continue and engage the process of official designs, both architectural and engineering designs, for the reconstruction of the Dover School, including facilities for skills.
Right, so that's good. The Honorable David Andrew there, and maybe Panames could, listen to that some more. He calls on the Plead Your Cause program from time to time, talking about Carriacou, and maybe he can also take a trip up to Carriacou and Petit Martinique. That will be appreciated. It's one thing to talk, and push a certain agenda, but it's another thing to get on the ground and see what's happening there, and also to assist in any way that you can. So Panama, it could be a good opportunity for you to visit Carriacou and the Petit Martinique. All right, you may have a different perspective after that. Continuing with positive news, so we looked at the Honorable Kieran James, we looked at the Honorable David Andrews. Now let's look at what the IMF says about Grenada.
The government of Grenada acknowledges the conclusion of the International Monetary Fund Executive Board's 2024 Article 4 consultation, which highlights Grenada's sustained economic growth and resilience amidst recent challenges. On January 24th, the IMF released its latest assessment of Grenada's recent economic performance. The conclusion of the 2024 review was delayed to incorporate the impact of Hurricane Beryl, which struck Grenada on July 1st, 2024. The IMF report recognizes Grenada's robust economic performance through June 2024, driven by strong tourism growth, moderating inflation, and a narrowing current account deficit on the balance of payments. Significant revenue from the Citizenship by Investment program enabled improvements in public finances and a reduction in public debt, further underscoring the country's economic stability. Despite the devastating impact of Hurricane Beryl, which caused damages equivalent to 16% of GDP, Grenada's swift and strategic fiscal response has been critical in supporting recovery and reconstruction efforts. The IMF notes that Grenada's near-term economic outlook remains positive, with projected growth of 3.9% in 2025, supported by effective disaster contingent financial instruments, recovery efforts, and prudent fiscal policies. The government reaffirms its commitment to adhering to fiscal rules once recovery spending subsides, ensuring public debt remains on track to meet the 60% of GDP target by 2035. Though challenges like climate vulnerability and tourism fluctuations persist, the government continues to explore opportunities for sustainable growth, including public investments in strategic areas. Minister of Finance, Honorable Dennis Cornwall, credited Grenada's strong performance to sound policies since the government took office in mid-2022. The next Article 4 consultation is expected within the standard 12-month cycle.
Right, so that report there from GIS, very good one indeed. Looking at the International Monetary Fund report on Grenada's economy. They gave Grenada a clean bill of health. Grenada's economy is strong, it's doing well. Jobs are being created, it continues to grow. And thumbs up to the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell, the Honorable Dennis Cornwall, and the others in government who are doing a fantastic job. The team, the entire cabinet, you're all doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Mr. Dangote is the chairman and CEO of the Dangote Group that is widely recognized as one of the most influential entrepreneurs globally, with extensive contributions to industrialization, infrastructure, and economic development. His visit marks a significant moment for Grenada as the nation explores opportunity for economic collaboration and investment. It also aims to highlight Grenada's growing ties with the African continent and our efforts to strengthen economic and cultural connections. During his time in Grenada, Mr. Dangote will engage in discussions with government officials and business leaders and deliver the keynote address at this year's Independence celebration at the Kirani James Athletic Stadium. In addition, he will participate in the inaugural fireside chat, which takes place on Thursday, featuring Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell. According to a statement from the Government Information Service, this discussion will focus on leadership, business and entrepreneurship, as well as the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum 2025 announcement. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell has been quoted as saying, "We are delighted to host Mr. Aliko Dangote in Grenada. His business acumen and commitment to economic transformation are globally recognized, and we look forward to meaningful discussions that could lead to mutually beneficial partnerships. Mr. Dangote's visit underscores Grenada's commitment to fostering international business relationships and attracting strategic investments that will drive economic growth in Grenada. Christelina John, GBN News.
Yes, thank you very much, GBN News there. Christelina John, that's a very nice piece. Mr. Dangote, he will be in that setting today, the inaugural fireside chat with the Most Honorable Deacon Mitchell at Radisson Crown Ballroom, at the Radisson Crown Ballroom today. And I think it will be carried on GIS and Power FM. I think, stand to be corrected, but I think it will be carried live. All right, I already carried my blazer to the laundry, all right, to be dry cleaned, because I will be in attendance, all right. And the best laundry mart in Grenada is it's Maxi Laundromat. That's in Belmont, all right. Some really nice people there, really nice people there in Belmont. They do a fantastic job, and they have been around for a very long time, all right. Right there in Belmont. You have the Credit Union League. I think you have the Communal Cooperative Credit Union League building here, and you go up inside there. That's where the laundromat is located. They do a fantastic job there. So I already, had them organize my blazer, because I have to be there, today at this very important inaugural fireside chat. All right, nice. So at this point, let me just see for another piece to feature. All right, nice. Okay, so while all these positive things are taking place with government, with the NDC administration, when you look at the NNP side now, this is what is happening.
In an email sent on Tuesday, Alistair Bain formally parted ways with the NNP, ending a decades-long association that began in the late 1990s. His resignation follows months of internal conflict within the party, particularly surrounding the conduct of leadership elections and governance practices. Bain expressed frustration over what he described as a lack of commitment and democratic principles within the party.
I believe the behavior that you see coming from the party, the behavior from the leadership of the party, the behavior of the current chairman of the party is one that has become very divisive, one that doesn't embrace the principles of good governance or the principles of the party, the policies of the party. And when an organization starts to break its own rules, I believe that every member of that organization need to check themselves and need to make a decision as to whether they want to be part of what I would call a rogue organization. And I definitely do not want to be part of that.
When asked about his plans moving forward, Bain hinted at a continued role in public service.
I would say what next for me is what next for the electorate in Grenada. There's a significant portion of the electorate who are now disenchanted, dissatisfied with the parties that are offering themselves. And I think it's time for that demographic to start making their voices heard and to start looking at the options. That is what's next.
Bain's departure comes as the NNP struggles to regain stability following its defeat in the 2022 general elections. His resignation is seen by many as growing fractures within the party, following the resignation of Peter David, the elected Member of Parliament for the town of St. George, and the mass resignation of all 17 executive members from the town of St. George branch, as well as 6 of the 11 executive members from the St. Patrick West constituency branch and management committee. GBN reached out to NNP General Secretary Roland Bola on Tuesday, who was unable to confirm receipt of Bain's resignation letter, but commented on the situation.
The fact is, we are not happy as a party that people resign, but we accept the fact that people have a right to do as they feel. Once it's legal, we support them in their moves, in their endeavors. I know Mr. Bain has been a member of the party for many years and has benefited tremendously through the new National Party. And if now the decision is taken to move elsewhere or to move out of politics altogether, or whatever his endeavors are, we just want to wish him good luck, wish him the very best. And like everyone else, let them know that the doors of the NNP are always open, so they are welcome back home if greener pastures didn't come their way.
The NNP has yet to issue an official response to Bain's resignation. Reporting for GBN News, Nisha Paul.
Right, so that's Nisha Paul. Yeah, that's a good piece there. So the NNP, they continue to fight. They continue to see a lot of resignation. It's a very chaotic situation in the NNP. The level of instability is troubling, and they say they want to come back and rescue Grenada. All right. I laugh because when you look at the NNP, all you see is confusion, all you see is bacchanal, all you see is infighting, all you see is struggling, all you see is resignation and problems. That's what you see in the NNP. But when you look at the NDC and you look at the government and so on, it's a stable group of young men and women, focus, doing things to help the people of Grenada, Carriacou and PT Martinique. And that is what Grenada wants. All right? That is what Grenada wants. So let's keep remaining focused, doing what we must do to better this country. Grenada belongs to all of us. We have a duty to make it better. And people are now beginning to look at the NNP and say, but wait, every single thing you're criticizing, every single thing you're condemning, everything you have bad things to say about, the International Monetary Fund released their report on Grenada's economy. It's positive, it's good, but the NNP, they're still condemning it. They're still saying, well, the IMF this and the IMF that, and the IMF shouldn't be the one to do, and the IMF lie, and the IMF this, and Grenada economy is this. And that is how the NNP operates, When they were in power, they believed everything the IMF said. And they were happy to boast about their report. But now the NDC is in power, and the NDC gets good report from the IMF, the NNP vex. They have all kind of negative things to say, all kind of bad things to say. It's amazing. It is amazing. They just want to hear bad news about Grenada. You have some friends or foes, people who you live and exist around. They just want to hear something bad about you and your family. That's the NNP. Nothing good. And if they hear that your daughter gets a scholarship, they angry, they bitter, they vex. Or your son gets a promotion in his job, they angry, they bitter, they vex. They wanted to hear that your son is fired or your daughter remains where she was, right? That is what they want. They want to hear bad news. You get a little car and you pack it up in your yard, they vex, they angry. They thinking about how they could go and scratch it, how they could squeal on you to cause some kind of thing to happen. That's the NNP. The NNP, they are bearers of bad news. They want bad things to befall the country. You put on a little veranda, a concrete veranda on your wooden house, or a concrete bathroom, they vex, they angry. It's not good for you. You should just remain with your pit latrine or remain with no veranda, that kind of thing. Their mindset, that is what they believe. They believe that you should be stuck there forever. It's scary, but the NNP's bearers of bad news. They're like the mourners in funerals in Africa and those places. You hire them. They don't know the person who died, but you hire them to come and mourn, to cry, to scream, to bawl. That's the NNP. That's how the NNP is operating. All they want to hear is bad news. In other words, you bring them to the cinema to watch something romantic. Boy, they vex. They thought you were bringing them to watch some horror movie, some bad thing. You see, they want to see the Draculas. They want to see the vampires. They want to see the bloodsuckers. They want to see that. Bad things to befall this place. That is what they want. They're not getting it. So it's causing them to be miserable. And it's taking a mental toll on them. The majority of NNP goons, zygotes, sycophants, and now you have the union donkey on board. Right? It's scary. It is scary. When Grenada does good, everyone benefits. So if good things are happening for Grenada, you will benefit, your children will benefit, your children's children will benefit. So why do you wish bad on this country? Why are you so negative? Good things are happening for our people. Be happy now. Africa's richest man is coming to Grenada. He'll be engaged in the businesses, and there's a great probability that relationships will be forged and business ties will be established, and Grenada will benefit. Investment will be made in different sectors. Come on. Be happy now. Be glad now. This is our home. This is our nation. This is our country. The islands, they belong to us. No. The NNP, they're upset. They're angry because good news continue to flow for Grenada. They thought that the IMF will paint a bad picture. But we know that things are happening for our people. Try to get a carpenter. Try to get a mason. Try to get a plumber or an electrician. Try to get a contractor. They're all occupied. They're building and building and building. Visit the lumber yards. Take some time and visit the lumber yards. And you will experience what I am telling you. People are working. People are building, and in any country where construction is on the rise, it would cause the economy to be buoyant, liquid. Money will be spending. So things are happening for our country. And we all should be proud of that. We should be happy, excited. But the NNP, they're bitter. They're sour. Why? Can anybody answer that? Can anybody tell me why the NNP is so negative, so bitter? Why they're wishing bad for Grenada? Why? I want somebody, somewhere, to tell me. Just tell me. Tell me why they dislike Grenada so much, the NNP. And you have people out there who are happy, who are excited. Things are happening for people. Things are happening for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. But everything for the NNP is to condemn, is to criticize, is to talk bad about this country. We are saying the time has come for us to call them out. We have to call out the NNP and say to them that the Grenadian people want good for Grenada. They want good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And as a result, they would work towards that. And we must be happy. So the name Dangote or Dangote Group, that is hunting the NNP. Anytime you mention that right now, they vex, they blue, they angry.
Let's talk about how you made this amount of money, which is by far the largest amount of money that any individual has in Africa. So you came from a wealthy family or not a wealthy family?
I came from a wealthy family. My late great-grandfather in the 1940s was actually the richest, West African. My late grandfather was one of the wealthiest Nigerian. The family name is Dentata. That's from my maternal side. My father too, was fairly rich, but he was both, in business and also in politics. But David, one thing that I'm very, very proud of is that I did not inherit any money from my father. I built everything from scratch to where I am.
So your father died when you were relatively young?
Yeah, he died when I was 8 years old.
So he didn't leave in his will a large amount of money for you?
Well, he left in the will, but, whatever that I inherited from him, which means in assets, I gave that one to charity since then.
Okay. So did you go to college in Nigeria?
No, I went in Egypt.
Egypt, all right. And what did you study?
Business.
All right, so you graduated at what age?
I graduated at about 20 years old.
All right, so you went back from Egypt to Nigeria?
Yes, I went back, and then
what did you get a job? What did you do?
I started work with my, uncle, but there's few months, and then I went to Lagos, and now I started my own business by just, buying cement, selling. It was just a very low-key business.
All right, so you're 20, 21 years old, you're buying cement, you're a trader.
I was trading, yes.
You're not making cement, you're trading it.
I was trading at that time.
Now, cement is your main business. We'll talk about it in a moment, but why is cement such a big part of Africa's, wealth?
Well, the issue is that when you look at cement, cement is what builds infrastructure. And we need a lot of infrastructural deficit. In Nigeria alone, we have about 17,000 deficit of housing. And it is all over in, Africa. So when we started cement in Nigeria, we realized that majority of it was actually imported. And that is why we went in there, we started, and it's a long story.
So you ultimately were trading cement, and then was it hard to get the money to keep that business going?
No, it wasn't really hard. At that time, I was buying domestically. We started importation in 1980 because I started business in 78. So by 1980, we started importing sugar, rice, commodities generally. And then we stopped the cement business because the cement I was actually doing local trading. It wasn't really import business. We started import of cement in 2000.
Okay, so you had a cement trading business. Somebody thought Lafarge may be buying it. You decided not to sell because they wanted control. And you then decided to build your own cement manufacturing business. Is that right?
Yes, I decided in 2003 to build my own cement. That time, Nigeria was only producing about 1.8, 1.9 million tons. But we went ahead and started with the 5 million tons of cement capacity.
So what year was that?
This was 2000, was actually imported. And that is why we went in there, we started, and it's a long story.
So you ultimately were trading cement, and then was it hard to get the money to keep that business going?
No, it wasn't really hard. At that time, I was buying domestically. We started importation in 1980 because I started business in 78. So by 1980, we started importing sugar, rice, commodities generally. And then we stopped the cement business because the cement I was actually doing local trading. It wasn't really import business. We started import of cement in 2000.
Okay, so you had a cement trading business. Somebody thought Lafarge may be buying it. You decided not to sell because they wanted control. And you then decided to build your own cement manufacturing business. Is that right?
Yes, I decided in 2003 to build my own cement. That time, Nigeria was only producing about 1.8, 1.9 million tons. But we went ahead and started with the 5 million tons of cement capacity.
So what year was that?
This was 2000, and we started the building end of 2003, and we finished in 2007.
And so now you're the largest cement manufacturer in Nigeria?
We're the largest cement manufacturer in sub-Saharan Africa.
Right. So that's Mr. Dangote. All right. Nice. So, folks, today it will be the inaugural fireside chat, and the host is our beloved Prime Minister. So he will be interviewing Mr. Aliko Dangote. All right. So you'll be talking to him today from 11 a.m. at the Radisson Crown Ballroom. And quite a number of people have been invited to sit in that interview. All right. So I will be there also. And today is National Colors Day. I want to encourage all to wear the colors. In fact, Zoe's teacher sent me a little video there a while ago of her, usual Zoe doing her thing. By now, you know she's in school. Her birthday will be the 15th of February. So the 15th of February will be Zoe's birthday. All right. She'll be 3 years on the 15th of February. But she's already in school. She's sharp, she's bright. She's with her sister at First Choice, a very nice private school. Sister Forsyth, Mrs. Forsyth, and Mr. Forsyth. They're doing a fantastic job there at First Choice, and they're doing well. All right, so that's Zoe. Right, so Zoe doing her thing. Zoe's always lively and she's full of vibes. So that's Zoe there, and her sister Zaylee is close to her. Zoe is the one that she controls the show. All right, so her sister just has to watch. That's her sister kissing together. Yes, so they're having a fantastic time today at the school at First Choice. They have oil dong and real vibes. Real vibes. They had a recent event, how it was back then, right? It was really nice. I went with friends, and the kids, they really brought you back, way back in time, how it was. All right. Yeah, so I'm very proud of my two daughters, and they're doing well. And I want to encourage everyone out there, dress in your colors and have a fantastic day. All right. And remember what I said to the Union Donkey and the others. It's simple. When I was in opposition, I did everything to get into government. Now that I am in government, I do everything to remain in government. This is simple. So if the Union Donkey and the others want to live in the period when I was in opposition, you can go back, you'll get Humpton clips and videos and all kind of stuff of that period, of things I said that you like and you dislike and you didn't like, right? Whatever, things how I express myself. Nothing wrong with that. You could live in that period. I am living in the now, in government. Remaining positive, remaining focused, highlighting the good things that are happening, and pushing ahead. So all you need to do is to just leave there. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that. All right? No Lacey. All right? So Lacey says, Kem, you need the boy. No. Lacey, I don't making children, girl. What going on with you? Yeah. So you think Lacey easy? So folks, I'm saying if you want to live in the past, no problem with that. I fought a good fight when in opposition during the time when we had no seats in some instances. And now I continue to maintain, because we're in government, maintain, remaining focused, strengthening, consolidating, right? Adding to what we have. That's what it is. And if you are not tactical and strategic, you're going to be stuck in the past. All right? So I'm a good boy now. I'm a good boy now, right? Yeah, I don't need to go into certain things and do certain things like in the past. It's different. We have a new government. God sent a new government with a good prime minister, a good team to transform this place. Come on board. Let's do good for Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. Let's move away from living in the past. You want to live in the past? It's up to you. All right? So the Union Donkey and all, they're going back in time, 10 years ago, 9 years ago, to get little pieces of clip of Kem Jones. I'm so damn important. It's not even funny. They're stuck there. Let's move forward. Move forward. Folks, I want to wish you all the best. Have a wonderful day. Today's Colors Day. Tomorrow, Independence at the stadium. We're going to have a wonderful time there. All right, so no program tonight. All right, it's the last program for the week.